Thoughts in chaos.
Here we go. I can't even get an intro out after that last game. But this is the 5th set between JangBi and ZerO, and this is going to decide who moves into the last Brood War OSL final. Is he going to be the reigning champ? Is it going to be ZerO? I mean, ZerO played brilliantly as well in that last game. They were both brilliant. JangBi, that was a true veteran instinct from him. Just like, well, might as well just try to win with one base. I mean, I lost my second base, so why bother putting a second one down? Just go for the one base kill. And he pulled it off. That's true veteran instincts. But ZerO just freaking... Why did they call Calm the Brain Zerg? That was a Brain Zerg move right there. The Capacity crowd just completely applauding these two guys. This is nuts. Here we go. I'm too frazzled from that last game to even think of anything to say, but here we go. Except, we're back to Neo Ground Zero, ZerO's home turf, but up at the 2 o'clock position in yellow is JangBi. Down at the 5 o'clock position, all the crowd just chanting. But down at the 5 o'clock in beige, I think, was ZerO. All comes down to this. There was no reason that JangBi should have taken that last game, but he did it anyway. Yeah, that's JangBi for you. Always riding by the seat of his pants. Yeah, I think there was someone who left a comment on one of my videos recently, a JangBi game, who said something to the effect of, JangBi always makes you think that he's losing, but he's actually in control the whole game. I don't know how true that is, about the second part especially, but it's just so much fun to watch. Both these guys, super entertaining players. I knew this would be a fantastic semifinal, and I was not let down. Even if this last game sucks, I'd say this is probably one of the best series I've cast in a while. But, yeah, I don't see how this game could live up to the last one, but come on guys, give it a shot. Another spawning pool first build from ZerO. I believe he's gone spawning pool first in every single game. It's probably the smart route. There's the pro. Might try to get a drone kill. Going in with his wacky particle beams. Trying to get something done. But you're not Bisu, JangBi. You're not Bisu. You don't have an annoying-ass Bisu probe that does get a drone kill quite a bit of the time. Here we go. Forge, Fast Expand from JangBi. Not going for another Dark Templar rush, so he must have... Well, either he's prepared another strat, or he's deciding just to go standard this time around. He did... When he was playing his final against Fantasy, he did do the same kind of wacky carrier push in both of the games on the mirrored maps. That was kind of confusing, but they were both on Pathfinder. First set, last set, he decided to go for the same strategy, which was to pump a Corsair first to scout, which would tip Fantasy off immediately in the 5th set. But he was so confident in that weird strategy that he decided, well, might as well use it again. But it looks like this is not the same thing. He realizes that ZerO's not going to fall for the same Dark Templar rush in this game that he did in the first set. Just like, okay, got to do something different. Might as well go for standard opening. Well, I'm assuming standard at this point, but almost that third set. Third hatch up for ZerO. Yeah, like I said, I'm so freaking frazzled from set 4. But I'll try to focus for you, gentle viewer. Oh, dear God. This series. Oh, it's Kim Carrier, one of the OGN commentators, just bursting into tears. Yeah, I think he's kind of overwhelmed at this point, not only by the beauty of that last set, but because this is the last Brood War OSL. Oh, man, I've never seen a commentator just break down like that. Oh, geez, he's gonna make me choke up. Come on, all the commentators can't be crying now. We gotta talk, gotta keep a dialogue going. Let's band together. Alright, gonna try not to choke up after that display. But Kim Carrier has been commentating since, I think, the beginning. The very beginning. I know one of the commentators was replaced. The main guy who does most of the talking was replaced about halfway through. That guy. Don't know his exact name, I'm sorry. I know Kim Carrier well because he always makes a prediction before the OSL, and that's always wrong, which is called the Kim Carrier curse. This is a Hydraless Den from ZerO again. So he's probably going for something similar like he did in the last set. So going for that again, Cybernetics Core at the natural for JangBi. But yeah, the Kim Carrier curse is always a funny thing to follow. It's not always true, but it often is. Whoever Kim Carrier thinks will win the OSL ends up losing. Delightful Kim Carrier curse. Not exactly the same as the Nuke the Stars curse. Nuke the Stars curse, not quite as terrible for the winners. Mine is always 50% correct. But there you go. And it actually didn't hold true in this last round of 16, round of 8, whatever. But anyway, here we go. We're about to go. Well, it looks like Kim Carrier's regained his composure. But Hydralis are about to be pumped out of those hatcheries for ZerO. And he's going to try to pressure the front again. Now, here comes JangBi trying to get the scout. Got to get the scout. He only has 2 cannons right now, and he's got to start getting some more out soon. Here he is, just darting back and forth. He doesn't see any buildings at the natural. So now he's just pulling back and trying to find another opportunity to slip by the Zerglings. +1 upgrade spinning on the Forge again. Let's see if it's able to come up in this game. Of course, even without the +1, JangBi took the last game with just sheer bullheadedness, I guess you could say. Pig-headedness in that game. He's like, okay, I'm going to win with 1 base. How about that? Okay, Hydra's already moving up the map. The Zergling's on the way too, and that 3rd cannon just now about halfway done for JangBi. He's getting his 4th cannon. Did I say 4th cannon earlier? I think I said 3rd. Anyway, 3rd cannon going to come up. 4th cannon going to be a little bit late, as ZerO positions himself to take out not only the gateway, but the Forge again. I'm going to try to get close to that Forge once he has the Hydra range again, but this is turning out quite a lot like the last set, so hopefully it's just as crazy. But did the +1 finish? I think the +1 might have finished for JangBi. I think it finished this time on that Forge. But there's the Templar Archives for JangBi. He has a bunch of cannons at the front. Let's see if they come in time. Warp in time. JangBi trying to hold with Zealots, pulling some probes off the line to block for the cannons. 1 cannon in the back. Only 1 cannon. Here comes the 2nd. Warping in. Now he's going to have 3 cannons to defend his front, and with the 3 cannons in the probes, he's going to hold for now. There's a 4th cannon too, so JangBi should be okay for now. ZerO came in just to snipe that 1 cannon, but he's going to be fended off for the time being. Here's another Forge on the way for JangBi to build 2 additional cannons. Working on the cannon wall at his natural, and holding with just probes and cannons for the time being. And there's the Corsair just kind of darting around looking for Overlords to snipe. And ZerO's taking his 4th base. He's taken the 4 bases. Yeah, he's down at the 8 o'clock position, taking the 8 o'clock main. And he's already got the natural down there, so he'll be able to put down more static defense and hold that base. I saw a lot of Zerg players do this around 2009, especially in the Ever OSL. A lot of Zerg players doing this, opening with the 4 bases, which a 4-base Zerg is extremely hard to take down in a PvZ. When the bases are locked in like this, when it's tough to get to them because of static defense. And then you can just pump mutas, dart back and forth between the 2 groups of bases to defend like that. But with plenty of cannons here, JangBi should be okay against the Hydras. The Hydra's just going to hang there for a while, though. Just kind of staying there. The Hydra's just sitting there talking about how great the last game was. Okay, remember the 4th set? That was so kick-ass. Of course, a lot of my relatives died in that game, but it's still so freaking awesome. But here comes a shuttle from JangBi, going to be scouted. No, I think that shuttle is within the Zergling's sight range. So ZerO, if he looked at his mini-map at that exact moment, he would have seen that red dot just moving down his map. And yeah, he has Hydralisk in to intercept this shuttle. But here comes the shuttle. There were 2 Dark Templar inside the main, so I assume that's what he's dropping. Yes, Dark Templar dropped inside of the main. So those are going to chase around the drones, get a little bit of harassment going, chase the drones away from that main. And now JangBi is kind of focusing on that Hydralisk in with 1 of the Dark Templar. He's only got 1 Dark Templar, maybe trying to fool ZerO into thinking it was just the 1. But ZerO probably focused on that and realized that there were 2 Dark Templar in there. But JangBi's still trying to hide that 1. No, he's moving down to the natural expansion with it to kill the drones that transferred over there. A lot of drone kills. Ooh, lots of drones go down. So that was a successful harassment from JangBi. Now he's picking up High Templar. That shuttle is getting a lot of use early on in the game. But picking up the High Templar and probably going for another go. He's got to dart around that Zergling, though. He must have seen that Zergling on that first trip down to ZerO's base. Gonna probably try to go around that this time, so he hasn't scouted. Yeah, he is going around the Zergling. Had it barely out of range of the Zergling sight. But now he's coming behind this natural expansion. He's in Overlord sight range now. Here comes the High Templar, storming the drone line. Gets about 3 drones. Yeah, 3 drones and 1 Hydra before backing away. So even more great harassment from JangBi, but harassment's not going to be enough against a 4-base Zerg like this. He's going to have to constantly harass this type of build and start thinking about pressuring one of the naturals. The natural outside the 8 o'clock or the 5. Alright, I'm still very comfortably mining down at those 8 o'clock bases. I see the forge still spinning for JangBi. Pretty sure he got his +1 earlier from that forge. I don't think he would have canceled it that early when ZerO was attacking. So I think he has that. He's got the forge spinning again, but here comes all the static defense from ZerO to make sure he can hold those 8 o'clock bases and won't have to worry about them too much. More Hydras being pumped by him down at that base. Here comes some Dragoons intercepting this Overlord. Scouting Overlord going to... Oh, maybe... Oh, I can't believe that Overlord made it out of there. That is a lucky Overlord. At least for the time being. Here comes a Corsair, probably going to finish the job. But the Overlord gets a few more seconds of precious, precious life. And really, as a Zerg, that's all you can hope for is a few seconds. Especially as a Scourge. The Scourge, you're pumped and you die immediately. What a long, fruitful life. But here comes the shuttle again. Red shuttle, got to be careful. Gotta be super careful. Static defense here, too. Going to attack whatever is dropped from this shuttle. The High Templar forced to drop. Storm on top of the Hydras. Gets quite a few Hydras in those storms. Gets about 4. But still, not quite worth it to bring those in for the harassment and be taken down immediately like that. But here comes a Corsair skirting by the defenses again. And JangBi is moving out. Didn't even notice that, but he's inside the middle of the map now with his full army. So he could be going for a break of one of these bases. He got to decide which one he wants to attack. Which one has the least amount of static defense, because a lot of sunken colonies being built now from ZerO at each base. Got about 6 at each. Might have had 7 actually at his real natural. But a lot of static defense. Going to make it more difficult to break. Yeah, because ZerO's still trying to get that economy cooking. Make use of those 4 bases and get all the gas that he can from those. He hasn't even put down the 2 additional extractors, I think, yet. But there is JangBi trying to position his 3rd base at the 3 o'clock. Kind of an interesting, gutsy place to take it, right next to ZerO's base. But here comes JangBi, going to try to break, I think. Yeah, he's committed to this attack, going to try to kill all the sunken colonies. Still 3 sunkens left in the back, 2 more creep colonies being morphed, and some Zealots bringing up the rear, but probably not quite in time to break through this. And the Zealots don't even have the... yeah, the Zealots do have leg. Sorry. I was going to say the Zealots don't have the leg upgrade yet, but yeah, they do. Leggy Zealots. Oh, that's a bad mental image. Anyway, 2nd evolution chamber on the way for ZerO, and he's loading up the sunken colonies. at his natural expansion especially. I mean, he was just attacked at that 8 o'clock, but he has a few more crit colonies coming up there as well. Let's see. So Nexus being scouted by ZerO. ZerO sees this, so he could definitely work on drop and drop that base immediately from his position. That's why I was saying it was kind of gutsy place to take that third. Although I guess it'd be the best place to defend it with just the ground army. I mean, if ZerO is thinking about going there just from the ground and not dropping on top of that 3 o'clock, it would probably be the best place to hold with all these ground troops from JangBi. JangBi snipes a lurker on the high ground. He had the observer in to get the vision on that. Third evolution chamber again from ZerO. Yeah, this is his strength. Just the huge mid-game army. So he knows if he just upgrades everything completely, he'll be able to completely utilize his strength. Gotta love it. Alright, JangBi is still hanging outside of that natural. The Overlord is sent out just to get the scout on how many troops are out there. Alright, shuttle coming into play again. Going to be scouted immediately by ZerO, though. So see if ZerO has any troops down at his 8 o'clock. Not sure how many he really has down there. Now, he has some Hydralisks in position to intercept the Zealots. But the entire army from JangBi now moving over to the 8 o'clock again. And see if he goes for another attack of that front. So many sunken colonies, though, and lurkers, which will make it even more difficult. Yeah, look at the lurkers on the high ground, too. Just complicate things even more for JangBi. Alright, JangBi moving back to the middle. Kind of frustrated main army. Dark Templar trying to get something done. Going to be intercepted now by the Hydralisks. So the Dark Templar are not able to get too many drone kills there. But now JangBi is loading up for another harassment drop. But where is he going to harass? I see the static defense is just all around the natural expansion and the 5 o'clock natural. So that would be a tough drop. A very tough drop. The sunken colonies would go after those High Templar immediately. Alright, let's check out the bases. JangBi, a couple of cannons at that 3 o'clock. Not too many, though. Doesn't want to overcommit to that. Now he's going for his 4th base up at the 12 o'clock. Taking the 4th right now, being scouted immediately by ZerO's Overlord, which is already up there. Anticipating the 12 o'clock base going down. Okay, ZerO, I'd say he's had long enough to get that economy cooking, and he's probably going to work on a gigantic mid-game ground army soon. If he doesn't have a whole lot already. It's actually difficult to tell. The observers have just been focusing on the static defense. But here comes the Zerglings, is running up, going to try to focus down this 12 o'clock base. And try to surround the Nexus, force JangBi to cancel the Nexus. Here comes JangBi for the harassment of this natural. ZerO pretty quick to run away with those drones, so he only loses 4 of them. But here comes the Defiler Mound now from ZerO. Whole lot of ground troops from ZerO pumping, and that's all that ZerO is going to be doing for a while, is pumping Hydras and Zerglings from his hatcheries. So, yikes. 2 Defiler Mounds and a Queen! Of course, the King of Queens going to utilize some Queens in this game. And since it's only 1 Queen, it's probably going to be for Ensnare. Crazy! I love Queen usage in games, and I've always called ZerO the King of Queens because he has a certain affinity for them. So he has one out to get the Ensnare, probably mostly for the Zealots. Slow those down so he can move in with his Hydras, kind of chase everything away. There's a Queen kind of hiding out until it gets some energy for the Ensnare. Comes JangBi, just kind of hovering around with the shuttle. And 2 Scourge are ready to intercept another storm drop, though. So if JangBi does go in for another harassment drop, which he's already done at least 2 at that natural, he will be sniped this time around. Okay, the 2 Defiler Mounds getting Plague and Consume at the same time. So ZerO's going to try to force his way out, just Plague over everything, and snare everything, get the Christmas Zealot thing going on. The green over the red. Alright, can't wait for the big engagement. JangBi has built his 5th base up at the 10 o'clock position, so he is staying toe-to-toe with ZerO on economy. But look at all these hatcheries. God, there's going to be a huge amount of Zerg troops out soon for ZerO. And he's going to have Plague and Dark Swarm. Going to have to consume ready. But here comes ZerO, moving out into the middle with quite a few lurkers. Got the lurkers out. I don't see any defilers, though. No defilers, so the lurkers chased off for now. Got to fall back until there's Dark Swarm in the area to supplement these lurkers. But okay, JangBi chasing ZerO back. There's the Queen for the ensnare. And this Queen might actually be scouted, actually, by JangBi. JangBi coming into position right down at the 5 o'clock natural, dropping High Templar, 2 High Templar for the storm, tons of drones going down, a very successful drop, and a few more, why not, just one more gas drone, taking out, and more storm from JangBi. Wow, tons and tons of, and look at that, 10 kills on that High Templar, very successful drop down at the 5 o'clock. So that's going to force ZerO to drone back up instead of pumping all the ground units that he wants to do right now. Yeah, you see a lot of drones popping down at that 5 o'clock. And alright, the Nexus was picked at by those Zerglings earlier and taking down the yellow health, but he protected it. Still some blue fire coming off of that thing, but whatever. Blue fire doesn't matter. Terran red fire bad, Protoss blue fire good. There you go. That's your Brood War. Sum it up in one line kind of thing. Alright. Zerg blood bad. There you go. Add that to the whatever. But there's a big attack going to come up soon from these guys. Because I believe that ZerO has some troops down at the 5 o'clock natural expansion too. Just grouped up there. Plague over about 4 Dragoons in that. Gets an Archon, but of course plaguing Archons doesn't really help that much. They don't have much health at all. So Archon's going to lose about 8 health and go, man, that was bad, and then keep the rest of his shield. Here we go. Zerglings running up. ZerO working on that gigantic army. See drones being transferred over, and both guys are about max. I just looked down. They're both at 195, 199, so they're both about maxed. Which means, yeah, the big attack is inevitable. There's a storm from JangBi to intercept those Zerglings as they run up. As ZerO trying to get into position to take out the 3 o'clock base. Trying to get close enough to do that, but JangBi so far done a good job keeping that at bay. There's another Plague, nice Plague from the Defiler, gets most of those Dragoons up there, about 5 of the Dragoons. So it uses the Consume to get another Dark Swarm near that 3 o'clock base. So 3 o'clock, and I think that one of the observers was actually plagued as well, which will make it easier to take that down later. Alright, JangBi was trying to get his 6th base, but that was killed by Zerglings. He was forced to cancel that because of the Zerglings, so they have to wait a little bit longer. And I think he's taking that again, actually, up at the 10 o'clock natural, taking his 6th base. And it's so many troops out in the map. Dear God, they're both just about maxed again. So a bunch of zealots. Look at all these Archons. This is the major strength of a late-game Protoss army, is the Archons. It's a long trudge to get there. Another Plague on top of the high ground area on all these zealots. So we got Reavers in the back now for JangBi to protect this base. The Reaver Scarab Splash will be able to work under that Dark Swarm. So I'm not sure if ZerO will be able to do that. ZerO has to pull in with all of his troops at once, though. He's got them split up now, but JangBi is on the warpath with all those freaking Archons. So many Archons, which are so powerful in this kind of position. But there's the ensnare of the shuttle. Just that one ensnare used on one shuttle. Interesting. Could definitely focus that on the main army from JangBi, but he probably has enough energy for another one soon. There's the shuttle, not able to outrun. It wasn't even trying to outrun the Scourge, but it wouldn't have been able to anyway. And now ZerO's going to take out the 3 o'clock base, which is one of the main mining bases for JangBi. Getting up here, of course, he hasn't taken it out yet. You got to snipe the Reavers first. He gets one of the Reavers, a bunch of cannons in the back to focus down the Lurkers, stop the Lurkers from being a threat. But the Lurkers on the high ground area, splashing the Archons. The Archons coming up, trying to... Oh, there is a parasite detection of the Archon. Not sure if JangBi saw that or not, but that's going to allow ZerO to keep tabs on JangBi's main army. Parasite detection. Usually in TVZ, a Terran will kill their own unit when that happens, but you can't just kill your own Archon. Such a powerful unit. useful unit. Got to keep that in the main army, which means that ZerO will be able to keep tabs of JangBi. Here goes tons and tons of cracklings moving up to this brand new base, but Storm all over the place from JangBi. The Storm cleans that up completely. He has the Dark Templar just in case Denny survived. So now JangBi is moving out into the middle of the map again to face the Defilers and the main army from ZerO. So ZerO trying his best to shut down these new bases from JangBi, but so far he hasn't been able to do it. He got a little bit of an attack earlier. He forced that one base to cancel earlier, but JangBi has such a booming economy. Of course, ZerO's taking the 2 6 o'clock bases. He's taking the 9 and he's taking the 9 o'clock as well as the 2 6 o'clocks. But now JangBi has dropped Dark Templar to harass down at the 6 o'clock. He dropped Dark Templar at each 6 o'clock base to kill all the drones, and I don't think that ZerO's paying attention to this either. So he's losing a bunch of drones down to that position. Here comes ZerO over to the 3 o'clock position to focus that down. Finally, with cracklings, he's going to destroy that Nexus. Not much that JangBi can do about that. But that is one of JangBi's main... Look at this huge army from both. Oh my god. So JangBi has killed every drone down at both of the 6 o'clock bases. Crazy. Here comes ZerO. Bad positioning though from ZerO, trying to fall back to the Dark Swarm with his lurkers. Get rid of all these troops with the lurkers. He hasn't even brought in half of his army though. This game is crazy. Dark Templars killing the hatcheries. ZerO never committed any troops to taking those down, even with the Overlords down there. Oh my god, another plague from ZerO. I'm starting to lose my breath. This series is insane. But JangBi keeping toe-to-toe with ZerO, still making ZerO run back with his lurkers, run back to the Dark Swarm. But there is ZerO protecting what's left of the 6 o'clock. Oh dear god, he lost at least one hatchery down at that 6 o'clock as the Dark Templar were taking it down. But more lurkers coming into play for ZerO, but he's lost a lot of troops, so he's pumping nothing but Zerglings at this point to... both guys sweating profusely. They're both getting sweat in their eyes, which always hurts. I can relate to that. It's a stingy feeling. Yeah, dear god. Alright. Another 12 o'clock base coming up for JangBi now. Trying to keep his economy going after the loss of that 3 o'clock base. Trying to get a bit more out of harm's way this time. They still got a lot of Archons, plus 3 attack, plus 2 armor, and 1 shield on the ground trips. Another parasite detection from ZerO. Very smart to use the Queen for that at this stage. He'll know where the main army is, because the Protoss army has to stay together. And late game, PvZ gotta stay together. So ZerO, once again, is going to try to keep tabs on that. But there's a couple of Dark Swarm from ZerO. Nothing to really go under the Dark Swarm, though. The Zergling's a bit late to run in, so those Dark Swarms are not going to be utilized, really. And a bunch of lurkers morphing at just the wrong time. Here comes ZerO. Not ZerO, but JangBi. JangBi going into ZerO. The eggs completely exposed. So he comes in with the High Templar storming on top. The big grouping of lurkers. Bunch of lurkers going down. Splash from the Archons. Kind of a head tilt from ZerO. They're losing his main army. He's going into the natural expansion trying to shut this down. But tons of cannons and High Templar. Of course, the High Templar aren't really... Oh, the High Templar storm! Huge amount of storms from GG from ZerO. The Protoss madman takes another series, and he's moving into another OSL final. Wow, brilliant series. One of the best semifinals I've ever seen. And now I'm starting to get choked up a little too, because that was just overwhelmingly good. But we have our first finalist now. Reigning champ, going to try it again. And either way you go, fantasy or flash, we're going to have excellent rematch potential. Alright, this has been Nuke. Thanks for joining me for this excellent series. I'll be back soon for more commentaries. See you guys later.